Hi again, everybody. Welcome to Inside Golf. Along with Ellen Kalojay, I'm Harry Donahue. It's that time of the year. Maybe get together with your pro, get a little lesson. We had Lou Guzzi last 2 weeks, actually, on the show. And today, we're going to hear from three of the best, greatest golf coaches in the world. We have Dave Pelz.
He, of course, worked with the great Phil Mickelson.
Indeed. We have Dave Leadbetter.
Oh, we love him. And he, of course, worked with Nick Faldo.
Had him #1 for several years.
Right.
And Hank Haney.
And, of course, we all know he worked with the very great Tiger Woods.
Emphasis on previous tense, worked. And we're going to have all three of those guys. Recently, I caught up with them at the PGA Merchandise Show. Leadbetter is no longer working with Faldo.
Right.
Mickelson still works with Dave Pelz. And Hank Haney and Tiger Woods, they're this far apart.
A parting of the ways.
But they're coming together because of Hank's book. It's called The Big Miss. And a lot of people have had, well, pros and cons about that book and what he says about his pupil, ex-Tiger Woods. Back with those three as Inside Golf continues in a moment. Inside Golf is brought to you by Yuengling, America's oldest brewery, by Nike Golf, and by the Philadelphia Section PGA.
To the duffers, the hacks, we've been there.
To the 3 and 4 putters, we learned.
And to the rough riders and sandmen, we're ready to teach you.
To everybody out there who thinks they can't play the game, the over 28,000 PGA golf professionals say, we're here to help you discover or rediscover the joys of golf. To you, and you, and you, we're here.
The Philadelphia Section PGA is here to teach you. Play golf, Delaware Valley.
It's time light beer got some character. 99 calories, 100% lager. Yuengling Light Lager. Rethink your light beer.
Welcome back to Inside Golf, everyone. I'm Ellen Kalojay with Harry Donahue. We're going to start this segment with one of the best golf instructors in the world, Mr. Dave Pelz. He's known, of course, for the short game. And Harry, you spent some time with him down in Orlando. Was there one thing you took away from that interview that really struck you?
The reason why Phil reached out to him, simply put, they get one full shot per major. That's 4 shots a year. That's all we wanted from Dave Pelz. And as Pelz says, you know, the game of golf really is done scoring-wise, not here on the tee box, but a lot closer to the green. With Dave Pelz, I guess the guru, well, they say the short game, but I was talking to somebody who said you like to call it the scoring game. Dave, explain that for me.
Well, putting is half the game. It's really 43%, but it's the most frequent shot in golf. And then if you add chip shots from the fringe, pitch shots out of the rough around the green, sand shots, and wedges inside of 100 yards, that is now up to 67% of the game. 2/3 of the game are inside of 100 yards. All right. I call the short game from 100 yards into the edge of the green, the putting game, the game from the edge of the green into the hole. And if you add those two, that's a scoring game because that's where 60 to 65% of your shots are taken, and 80% of your handicap occurs. Most people work on their driving, they work on their irons,
Sure.
but that's only 30% of the game, of the scoring game. Now the rest, I work on the scoring game, and we like to think that our schools are the best schools in the world, not because we're the best teachers or because we know more than a lot of people. There are a lot of great teachers in golf, but we're fishing where the fish are.
Obviously, probably you can reduce more shots for a high handicap or somebody 12 to 15 handicap than you can for a touring pro.
Sure.
But it still applies, obviously, to the touring
Percentages are
pros.
the same.
Right.
Even in the pros, 2/3 of their game are inside of 100 yards.
And one of your most famous pupils has been for several years, Phil Mickelson.
Yes.
And you work with Phil. I understand he got in touch with you primarily when he wanted to prepare for majors.
When I met him, I mean, I met him years before that, but then he called in December of 2003. He had not had a particularly good year. And he said, can you help me in my short game? And I said, well, you're already known as one of the best in the world. I don't know, what are you talking about? He said, I need 1/4 of a shot around. 1/4 of one stroke around in the majors. He said, now I don't care about, I've won, I think 30 tournaments at the time. But I need 1/4 of a shot around in the
That's
majors.
One shot for a tournament?
It's one shot for a tournament. I said, well, where'd you get that? He said, well, look, I've tied or lost, been out of the playoff by 1 shot in 11 majors, and I've played in 43 and haven't won one yet. I'm 0 for 43. So I said, well, look, I don't know the details of your game. I'll have to measure that, but I guarantee you we can improve at least a quarter of a shot around. I mean, I don't know anybody that's making all their wedge shots and all their putts, so we can, if we prove those at all, we'll help you. So I went out to California, we started working, and we've had a great relationship. I just spent a few days in Palm Springs with him last week, right before the season started, and this is my 9th year. He's a great fellow. I enjoy working with him.
Now, how often will you get together with him over the course of a season?
Well, it depends on how well he plays and what happens. I mean, 3 years ago, his wife was diagnosed with cancer, and you know, he didn't play very much in the middle of the summer. And then his mother was diagnosed with cancer. Then he got psoriatic arthritis.
Right.
So he's been really struggling with his quality of life issues outside of golf. But he never uses it as an excuse. He says everything's great. And I was with him in Palm Springs. He's feeling really well. He's been on the medication he's on to cure his psoriatic arthritis. It doesn't cure it, it drives it into submission or remission. And so he's feeling well, and he's going to play well this year. His short game was better than I've ever seen it before in January, because he put greens and fairways and chipping areas and wedge areas in his backyard last year. So he's been practicing in December before I got to him in January. Now, to answer your question, we work before every major, and we go to the course the week before or 2 weeks before, sometime to prepare what is this particular course going to challenge, test your game in. And then we talk about what shots he should be working on and the strategy of, you know, where to lay up or what to do, whatever, to attack this particular course, because every course is a different challenge, and we want him to win majors. That's what, well, in fact, just to make a short story here, when I first started working with him in January 2004, we went for January, February, and in March, he said, now the Masters is coming up, what do we do?
Yeah.
I said, let's go there. Let's go there early. Let's really test the course and see, let's optimize your game for that course. And he said, Pelz, I've played in 10 Masters, that's 40 rounds, plus I've played several other, you know, I've played 60 rounds of golf.
I know this course.
I know this course, I don't need to go. I said, how many times have you won there? He says, none. I said, well, look, you're over 43 your way. Why don't you do it one time my way? Let's go. Let's do it with my eye, through my eyes, rather than through your eyes. Let's just see if you learn anything. So we spent 2 days, dawn till dark. This was the Monday and Tuesday before the week of the Masters. He comes back to the Masters, he wins. We've been at every major before it since then. He's won 4 times, runs 4 majors now. He's doing well. I think he's going to win a major this year again. I think he's healthy enough now with his medication that he can play. I mean, last year he was, I don't know, 10th or 15th or something, right, not as good as he's been in the past, but I think that was due to medication. I think he's as good as player as he's ever been now, and if his short game stays as sharp as it was, I believe he'll be competitive and win one.
Well, a quarter of a shot around is not going to help me too much. Maybe 2 or 3. But Dave, it's been a pleasure. Okay. And has Phil asked for a half a shot around yet, or no? Is he still on that 1/4 shot around?
No, we're working. We're past it. I mean, if you looked at his major scores over the years, we've gotten about a stroke and a half.
Wow.
Now we're still working a little bit, you know, because you can always improve. Until I keep telling him, until he makes every wedge shot, he can still improve.
There you go. And early prediction: Phil Mickelson at Augusta, right? Who knows?
Absolutely.
Thanks, Paul.
You bet.
See you.
And of course, the Masters in Augusta is coming up in less than 2 weeks, Harry.
And we'll see what kind of a prognosticator Dave Pelz is. Coming up next, David Leadbetter.
If 5 friends are having a light beer and they all put their drinks down in the same place, how long will it take to find the Yuengling Light Lager? About that long. Because the rich amber color of Yuengling Light Lager makes it stand out from the rest. The true lager flavor, however, makes it disappear. 99 calories, 100% authentic lager. Yuengling Light Lager, from America's oldest brewery. Rethink your light beer.
And welcome back. Inside Golf continues. Our special this week with three of the great golf coaches in the world. David Leadbetter is one of them.
Yes.
What's he best known for?
The hat.
Yes, to some people, if you're into fashion, but also he was the swing coach for Nick Faldo when Nick was #1 in the world. Since they've kind of parted ways, David now is hooked up with, I guess you could say, one of the high-tech companies when it comes to helping you with your game.
We're not machines as much as we try to be. Try to get repetitive and consistent. Doesn't matter whether it's chipping, putting, tee shots, iron shots.
With David Leadbetter. David, you're here with About Golf Simulators. What is it about golf simulators that makes them so distinctive?
Well, they've put a tremendous amount of research and development into bringing golf into people's living rooms, literally. And obviously, there's a lot of people have got these in their homes now, but more than anything else, I'm excited from an instructional standpoint because you can really help people understand what's going on in the golf swing. We all know people love to improve and work on instruction, work on technique, and this really affords us the ability to see, with their new launch monitor. I mean, it's more than just an entertainment aspect. There's a real educational value to About Golf.
So it's really a state-of-the-art teaching tools for somebody like you are concerned.
Absolutely, yeah. We see what the club head's doing, we see what the golf ball's doing, and we're now going to be working on what the body's doing. So we're tying up with biomechanics to see things like force plates, to see where pressure is during the golf swing. We're going to be looking at grip pressure, things of that nature. So just enabling somebody to understand why they do it well. I mean, the problem is a lot of people, when they hit a good shot, they have no clue why they do it. Right. So that's important.
Maybe because it doesn't happen that frequently.
Well,
right?
that's part of it. That's part of it. But our goal really is to try to help people to really understand what they're trying to do, have fun at the same time, and it makes it easier. I mean, sometimes it's difficult for people to rush out to the golf course and practice and so on. So, I mean, obviously there's going to be a lot of facilities around the country that people can go and play. If they don't have one at home, I mean, they're not obviously the cheapest piece of equipment, but I mean, people have them, and so it really is. I mean, it's a way. I mean, you look in Asia now. I mean, these things are really catching on from the standpoint of, like in Bangkok, for instance, where it's very hot, and downtown Bangkok, where people can't get out to golf courses. People are playing golf, they're playing tournaments, they're taking lessons. So it's almost, I say, it's maybe not quite the real thing. I mean, it might not have the smell of the cut grass, etc., etc.
That's coming.
But it's coming.
That's
That'll
coming.
be there. Yeah, we hear the birds tweeting.
The sound effects.
Yeah, sure.
Very realistic. Let me ask you one question. You have worked with some of the greatest golfers in the history of the game. What was the key that made it easier to work with some guys as opposed to others? Is it chemistry, personality? What made it click for you and some of your best clients?
Yeah, there is. It's the chemistry. I mean, they're all different. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, the commonality is that there's no two people exactly the same. The way that they conceptualize things, the way they formulate things in their mind. And so, I mean, you have to sort of get inside somebody's mind. When you're coaching and working with a player, you've got to figure out, okay, what is this person, what they want, how are we going to go about doing it, and do it in the least sort of imposing manner, shall we say, because if you try to impose your personality on a player, generally speaking, that's never going to work, because players, they have egos, they have personalities that are strong, and so you've got to blend with them. It's very interesting. I mean, I'm interested, I like all sports. I mean, I'm interested to see how I've played golf and coached Ivan Lendl. Okay, obviously he loves golf. I mean, a great tennis player. He's now got into coaching tennis. He's coaching Andy Murray now, and so I'm going to be very interested to see how that works, because Ivan Lendl has a strong personality, certainly, and Andy Murray certainly does. And we'll see how that works. So it's coaching in any sport. I mean, you try to bring out the best in each player. I mean, that's what coaches
Safe to
do.
say there's always a shelf life in a relationship between a swing coach and a top golfer.
Generally speaking, yeah, it's some longer than others,
forever,
like a
right?
caddy
Right.
relationship. I mean, I sort of worked for 13 years with Nick Faldo, which is still longer than his
really long
still longer
in
than
this
his
day
3
and
marriages. But that's pretty good. Oh, sorry, Nick.
That was David, not me, Nick.
No, seriously though. No, we had a great relationship, and it is. I mean, relationships run dry. You run out of information, or things just get stale, exactly. And sometimes it's time for a change. So that's not necessarily a bad thing.
All right, David, a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So while of course we all love seeing him working with that simulator, we of course love that signature hat.
And how about the line about him being around Faldo longer than some of Faldo's wives?
No comment.
That's between he and Mr. Faldo. Sir Nick Faldo.
That's right.
Number 3 in our list today of great golf coaches, Hank Haney. Now, Hank made his mark with a lot of golfers, but of course, more importantly, with Tiger Woods. They have since split ways,
yes,
but it seems like they're coming back together over a book, The Big Miss. We talked to Hank about that.
I mean, obviously, when you have an opportunity to observe greatness like I did for so many years, you know, you just enjoy talking about it. People ask me all the time about Tiger Woods. What was it like to work with him? What was he like? You know, what made him so great? And you know, my book is a little bit of all that and more. And it's honestly, I'm really proud of it. It's a great read. When you pick it up, you're not going to want to put it down. You're going to learn some interesting things, and you know, I can't wait for it to come out on March 27th.
I know Tiger has said, you know, he's not interested in the book, and he alluded to the fact that maybe it was just an opportunity for yourself, somebody, to gain profit from it.
Right.
But from what I understand, you're not attacking Tiger Woods.
Well, I mean, you know, he'll have to read the book, if he will, and make his own decision. But you know, I feel like I wanted to write a fair and honest book, and it certainly wasn't meant to be any kind of a takedown book.
It's not a show and tell or anything like that.
No, it's not a show and tell book. It's not a takedown book. I mean, you know, obviously Tiger. The last 3 years I helped Tiger, he won 45% of his tournaments. So you know, the overwhelming majority of the book is going to be very, very positive because you know, I observed greatness. And I feel like, you know, he's just the most incredible golfer that I think's ever played the game. So, yeah, it's a great read. It's a lot of insight into coaching, and you know, some great stories that happen along the way. And you know, I really feel like, you know, my goal, like I said, was just to be, you know, real fair and honest and paint a clear picture. I feel like I did that.
If you saw Tiger right now, if he came up here today, obviously you'd recommend that he read the book before he commented on it.
Yeah.
But do you think, you know, your relationship will grow apart or closer? Maybe after
well,
he
I mean,
reads
I don't
the book?
know. I mean, I hope he reads the book and finds something in it that would help him. But you know, I don't know. I mean, that will have to be up to him. You know, it's certainly I appreciate the opportunity that I had to coach him for 6 years, and you know, I realized that it's, you know, had a tremendous impact on my career. You know, I felt privileged to just be there with him. So you know, I hope that that everything is okay, but you know, that's up to him more than me.
Do you ever envision today that you and Tiger Woods would work again together?
No. I mean, Tiger was my last student, and I'm done coaching.
Really?
Yeah. So I knew when I started with Tiger that he was going to be my last student. I was going to do my best I could. We worked together for 6 years. It was a great time. You know, he had some great results. But yeah, you know, I'm done coaching touring pros.
Now it's into selling shoes.
Yeah, I'm selling shoes.
And giving TV shows, helping hackers like myself.
There you go.
Get on TV and embarrass ourselves.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this season of the Haney Project too. I've got a new format.
A little
this year.
format change, right?
Yeah, we're gonna have 4 students instead of 1. Going to see who improves the most, and we're supposed to announce pretty soon who the participants are. But it's going to be a lot of fun this year.
You always have to have a different twist.
Yeah,
you know
a little
that,
different twist. A little different twist. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, pleasure meeting you.
Harry.
Good luck with Crocs and
Thank
the
you.
show and everything else.
I appreciate
the great Hank Haney, everybody.
And the Hank Haney Project has already started with a cast of characters this season, from a supermodel to Sugar Ray Leonard.
That's quite a cast.
Yeah, we'll see how that
You know,
goes.
speaking of The Big Miss, Hank's book, already some excerpts have come out, and in it, apparently, he ties the injuries that Tiger's had, especially to his knee, to that stuff about Tiger wanting to be a Navy SEAL, and actually may have injured his knee while taking part in some Navy SEAL drills. That's pretty good stuff. That's pretty good stuff. You know, golf used to have the big 3, then it had the big 1. What's next? Our teed off panel will tackle that topic as Inside Golf.
To the duffers, the hacks, we've been there.
To the 3 and 4 putters, we learned.
And to the rough riders and sandmen, we're ready to teach you.
To everybody out there who thinks they can't play the game, the over 28,000 PGA golf professionals say, we're here to help you discover or rediscover the joys of golf.
To you, and you, and you, we're here.
The Philadelphia Section PGA is here to teach you. Play golf, Delaware Valley.
Guests of Inside Golf enjoy dining at Sin Sin, the popular Asian fusion restaurant located on Germantown Avenue in the heart of scenic Chestnut Hill.
And now it's time for Teed Off, brought to you by Yingling, America's oldest brewery.
Players that might be major winners down the road.
Welcome back. Inside Golf continues with our Teed Off segment today from the Green Parrot in Newtown, Bucks County. Our panel includes Joe Logan from myphillygolf.com. Jack McCaffrey is a columnist for the Delaware County Times. And Harry Mays, midday host on 97.5 The Fanatic in Philadelphia. Hey, guys, you know, Joe, you're probably the oldest guy on this panel outside of myself.
Oh, that hurts.
40, 50 years ago, you have to go back to golf's big three. I'm talking about Palmer, Nicklaus, and Player. They were the big three. They had their own TV show. More recently, golf had its big one, Mr. Woods.
Yes, it did.
What does golf have now?
From my perch, it's got two things going on. Number one, a changing of the guard in terms of youth. You look at the world golf rankings, Tiger's sinking like a rock, or, you know, Phil is getting older. You have the young guys. Rory McIlroy, 22 years old, now #1 in the world. Keegan Bradley, Dustin Johnson, all these guys are young, and they're good. And Bill Haas. The other thing that's going on is more international players. Watching a couple of weeks ago, the World Golf Match Play, there were guys in there in the top 60 I never heard of. I write about golf for a living. And there were guys from Korea and places I'm going, who are these people? But they're good.
But some people would say that's not good, you know. I mean, we're used to cheering for the front runners, you know, and if you have 20 new front runners every week on the leaderboard, you know, you'd rather just look up there and see 3 or 4 big names, or am I wrong on that?
That's being very, very American-centric. If you're a golf course designer looking to grow the game, the game is starting to grow globally.
Right.
That's good for golf overall.
Okay.
I don't know that it was good for golf on the women's side when it became so dominated by the Koreans and the Asians. And it may be moneymaker worldwide, but in the United States, it just killed it. Nobody follows it anymore. It's too hard.
Is that the only reason people don't follow it, do you think, or are there other maybe subtleties?
That's the reason.
That's the reason?
That's because it's difficult for Americans to identify with these foreigners.
Well, that's a whole nother topic, of course, I would think. Harry, what's your take
There's
on
another thing at work here. I mean, all the names that you bring up, you're absolutely right. You can add Alvaro Queiroz into that, Manasaro, Ishikawa. I mean, all these are great young players that might be major winners down the road, but they need celebrity. They need a celebrity, because Tiger's more than a golfer. He's a celebrity. He brings other people under the tent that don't care about golf. Is Rory McIlroy that guy going forward? He might be, but in the next 10 years, golf will need that guy. I hope it's him.
It will be him, because what he does now is he gets that roar. And if you can get it, you can't manufacture that roar. Either people are going to roar for you or they're not.
People love him in this country.
Yeah, they love him.
I
just made the point about the foreigners, but he's got a distinctive hairdo. He's got the A-list girlfriends. He's got a real good. Plus, he can play.
Yes, he can.
Tiger had the A-list girl, the B-list.
He had a lot of it. He had a lot of D-list girlfriends too. That was the problem.
Getting back to your point, and it's well taken. Golf has become global, but what drives the wheel here? It's still the American public, I think. Now, I may be provincial, you may say on that. I don't think so, because it's American sponsors and it's American public that are watching. 3 of the majors are always going to be played in the US of A.
True.
Do we need an American or 2 or 3 to be in the mix rather than having a bunch of internationals come over here and, for one of a better term, steal the attention on the world stage?
2 things occur to me. Number one, someone like Bubba Watson is a hugely charismatic figure.
So is John Daly, but he's never going to be, I don't think, a player.
True. So many of the international players are still coming here because the money is here. They come, they play here. So many of the Korean players that dominate the LPGA Tour, they don't identify with the American public in the way that Martin Keimer does or Jason Day from Australia. These are guys who not only can play, they're fun to watch, and they're more fan-friendly than some of the players on the LPGA Tour.
Hey, nobody's opposed to foreigner. You mentioned Gary Player, one of the most popular players of all time. So it's when it becomes dominated by the foreigners, then say what you want. The American will turn the channel and go to something else.
Right.
I'll tell you what I'd like to see is Ricky Fowler to be known for something other than clothes and his hair. Win a tournament. I mean, I love that kid. He's got all kinds of ability. But after a while, people are going to start, he's just a guy in a bright shirt with nice hair.
Well,
and who's
exactly.
You've got to have
you like that hair?
Yeah, well, I wish I could have it. I used to have that back in my day.
And the international flavor of the month is Ian Poulter. I mean, he's almost in the same boat. I mean, he came on the scene. Everybody said, wow, this kid's got game and he's
Flashy.
stylish.
Yeah.
Well, now he's well known for his style.
And he used to shoot his mouth off a little bit, too.
All right, let's go to the bar. And Ellen Kolodziej has somebody who has a question for Jack McCaffrey.
Thanks very much, Harry. We're joined here by Bridget. Bridget, what is your question for Jack?
Hi, Jack. Is it better to look good or play good?
That's a great question, and the answer is simple. It's better to look good always and then play good sometimes. That way, you will be a celebrity, but you have to occasionally get into the winner's circle. But in order to be at the very top, to be on the cover of the magazines, you better look good, and you better have that celebrity Q factor, and the great ones have it.
This guy sounds like a sports marketer. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, guys. Inside Golf continues with more right after this. Looking for a comfortable dining and get-together spot in historic Bucks County? Welcome to the Green Parrot Restaurant and Pub in Newtown. The kitchen features wood-burning stoves, specials for lunch and dinner daily, a wine list that features more than 60 offerings, and there are 24 different draft beers. All this in one very unique place, the Green Parrot on Sycamore in beautiful Newtown.
It's time light beer got some character. 99 calories, 100% authentic lager. Yingling Light Lager from America's oldest brewery. Rethink your light beer.
That's going to do it for this week's edition of Inside Golf. Hope you enjoyed our conversations with three of the greatest golf instructors, coaches in golf history. And next week?
Next week, we're heading south to Delaware Park, to be specific, to White Clay Creek.
One of my fondest memories on a golf course. Why don't we take a look? This happened, it's already 2 years ago, Ellen. What a shot, huh? Well, I haven't had one since like that.
Don't be modest, Harry. It was legendary.
Hey, when you have it like that, you might as well brag about it, especially when it's done in front of the cameras.
That's right.
And for all you want to know about Inside Golf,
all you have to do is go to InsideGolf.net. If you've missed any episodes, you want to catch up on some interviews, you can catch up with everything on InsideGolf.net.
So for Ellen Kolodziej, I'm Harry Donahue. Remember, no matter how bad it's going for you out there, don't pick up. And we'll see you next time on Inside Golf. Inside Golf has been brought to you by Yingling, America's oldest brewery, by Nike Golf, and by the Philadelphia Section PGA.